Hey everybody, it's Joe with Joe Knows Cryptos here with another video installment. So, maybe I got a little bit ahead of myself yesterday when I was talking about the markets crashing. They're still going to crash in my opinion. This is not financial advice. However, they're rebounding strong today, up 1,200%. And it looks like it's one of those hurry up and wait type of scenarios again. The reason I believe that the markets did not continue to crash today is because everyone was talking about this red wave that was supposed to come in from the Republican Party, right? And take over the House and probably the Senate and, gain control. Well, somehow that didn't happen. Somehow some people who were not expected to win on the Democrat side won. Some people who didn't campaign or debate actually defeated people who challenged their opponents to debates, and the opposition decided not to debate, but they still ended up winning somehow in some way. And some people who really couldn't speak clearly or have medical conditions that impair their speech actually ended up winning as well. It was, I think, a surprise to a lot of people. I think it was even a surprise to the Democrats. Now, why is that important? Okay, so if you do look at the election results, I don't know if you can see my phone here, but right now it is 46 to 48. 46 Democrats, 48 Republicans. You need to have 51 to actually have a majority. And that's very important to have the majority, because once you have the majority, you have more veto power. You can actually, if you have a lot of like-minded people, say you have a bunch of people that are conservatives or what you consider patriotic conservatives, if you get a group of those people elected, they can kind of bind together and they can kind of, I don't want to say control, but they will have a very, very strong influence on the House and the Senate. Now, if only 3 or maybe 4 of them get in, they'll have a voice, but it's not as powerful as having that 5th or even 6th person where they can really sway a lot of outcomes of things that are trying to get passed and get put into law or get through as far as bills and budgets and things like that. So right now it's very crucial for the Democrats to not let the Republicans get those extra 3 seats. And we have Herschel Walker in a runoff with Warnock. That's been pushed back to, that runoff's not going to happen until December 6th, which is still a ways away. Why they put it out so far, I don't know, but that's the date for the runoff. So that being the case, I believe that more than likely the markets will remain in decent shape until the result of that runoff is final. The Democrats want to have that seat desperately. They don't want Herschel Walker in because he is a very patriotic Republican. And like I said, if you get too many people that are like-minded, very patriotic, like Herschel Walker is, like Marjorie Taylor Greene is, like some of the other representatives in there, that they could have a very strong voice, and they want to limit that power. And they would actually love to see Herschel Walker just lose flat out. They don't want him in there. So as the game is played, if the markets crash and things don't look good, people are going to say, oh, the heck with this. We need a change. And we need a change from the current administration, which happens to be Democratic, to a new administration which would favor the Republicans. But if things are going fine, the economy's, the stock market's up, and there's a lot of people that vote strictly on how the stock market's doing and how their pocketbook is doing. They don't care about other issues. Some people care about issues like abortion strongly. Some people care about, pro-life, and, so it just depends on what hits you the hardest. So right now, the economy is one of the things that a lot of Republicans were banking on. winning more seats from because inflation is high and, you know, things are very expensive, gas prices are high, and they thought that there was going to be a red wave. There wasn't. And it's still in contention for, like I said, a majority of 51. So I believe that the markets are going to stay strong until that election on December 6th, because that could be a very important one person, one seat. Believe it or not, that's how close everything is right now. And because of that, I'm going to hold off on my things getting horrendous until after that. I did mention that, you know, you will see pumps here and there when people think that the markets are oversold, but overall, we're heading down, in my opinion. I don't think that the globalists went through so much work as to, and you can look this up, burn down, you know, over 100 food processing plants. You can say there were accidents. I don't believe over 100 all happened by accident. That had to be partially intentional. Supposedly, we're going to be running short or out of diesel fuel, especially to the northeast here, within days. Gas price is still high. Inflation is still high. Even though the numbers were better, you know, inflation came down from the 8s. It's still 7.7, and they like inflation to be at, you know, around 3%. It's still double plus another half higher than where they need it to be. In my opinion, they're going to keep raising interest rates. That's not going to help housing. That's not going to help people borrowing money to purchase automobiles. Twitter laying off, what was it, 10,000 people? Or no, that was Facebook. Twitter laying off tons of people, 50% of their staff. Amazon laying off. Mortgage companies now are starting to lay off. Car dealerships are starting to lay off. So we have layoffs coming, and it just snowballs from here. All right? So, guys, take it as you will. I don't see anything supporting the markets going up. I don't see anything that justifies the markets going up the way that they did today, other than the inflation numbers came down, so people anticipate that they're not going to raise interest rates as aggressively, but still, with inflation at 7.7%, they're going to be raising, and raising is not going to help anything, in my opinion, which does not justify the market going up the way that it did today. In my honest opinion, it's funny business going on. They're trying to prop up these markets until these elections are finished. And that's all I got to say about that. As far as cryptocurrency, okay, so you had the FTC fiasco go on. If you don't know about that, I'm sure you do if you're following cryptocurrency at all. They can use anything as a news story. That happened to be one that was obvious because it's going to not only affect FTC, it's going to affect the people who had money on FTC. It's going to affect Solana big time, which was a major holder or holding of FTC. And I think they said about 1 million Solana are going to come back on the market. So that is something, you know, to be a little bit worried about. Plus, I think they had a judgment come out against another company, and I can't remember the name of it right now, but if the Trade Commission ruled against their company. So it was two kind of whammies in one day type of thing. There's going to come a time, though, and it might take a little longer, with people will start to lose faith in the dollar because, you know, Saudi Arabia has already said that the Americans have no more influence on Saudi Arabia than any other country now, where it used to be the petrodollar, where everything had to be purchased through US dollars, is now up for grabs for anybody. There's nothing we can do about Russia. They're selling their oil to India. They're selling their oil to China. They're not getting hurt at all by sanctions. Here we are pouring billions of dollars into Kuwait for no reason. They're not part of the UN. There's no reason why we should be over there defending the Ukraine, other than what I think is what's money laundering going on with these billions of dollars that are being sent there unaccounted for, basically. It's maybe to help, politicians that have bought defense and war stocks. People that build companies that build drones and missiles and things like that they're sending over there as well, to line their own pockets. So it's nothing but fraud and nothing but bribery and blackmail and dirty money that's being sent there, and it's our tax dollars. And now every American citizen now owes the government $93,000. And I remember as a kid, it was like $8,000, and I thought that was ridiculous. And now it's $93,000 per person, which is just out of control. And it's just going to continue to get bigger and bigger and bigger. So, in my opinion, we're basically in a debt that we can never pay off. We are just inflating. Luckily, we are still the strongest currency, but there's going to come a day when our number gets called, when people stop buying our bonds, or when people start not accepting US dollars as payments because they are losing faith in it as well. And there's signs of that happening already with Japan, who is one of our largest bondholders, starting to cash out our bonds or not purchase our bonds. And it's happened before. I did get a comment on my YouTube channel there, who was someone who did say that they said it's just one of the normal bursts and bubbles that burst, and the cycle that continues to happen. It's happened over time. We'll see how it plays out, guys. You know how I feel about it. But please leave your comments down below and we can discuss it. I'm definitely open to any thoughts or discussions. This is a good way for us all to kind of get together and figure things out, okay? But love you all. God bless. Kiss your wife, boyfriend or girlfriend, husband. Hug your kids, pet your pets. Joe Knows Crypto signing off.